So I've been wanting to post a Robinhood portfolio update type of thing for a while now, and I figured why not do it on a week where the market is doing pretty bad, so that eventually when everything swings back up, I look like a genius. And overall, I would say my portfolio has done okay. It is extremely volatile, and I could have done a lot better in terms of like just mistakes in general that I've made throughout the years, but I am learning every single day, and this account should be much, much bigger in the future. So starting off with my all-time chart, I am up 51% of all time, but that's starting from 2019, so I'm probably underperforming the indexes. I'm not too sure though. Robinhood used to have this compare feature where you could overlay like QQQ or SPY over your portfolio. I don't know why they took it away. I actually really liked it, and I hope it comes back, but for now, we're just going to have to do it like this. So, of course, we're going to start off with 2019, and then we'll see that little dip from COVID. It's crazy how small that COVID dip is now. But, yeah, it did hit a high of around 56K, and then it just kind of stayed flat all throughout 2022, 2023. But then I can't remember what took a nosedive here. I don't know. I mean, half of my portfolio, or almost half of it, is Robinhood. So Robinhood probably took a huge dip before this huge pump recently. So that's probably what it is. But the past year, I am up 42%. I hit a high of like 55-ish. Hit a high of like 55-ish at like 77K. I dipped. It's saying 60K, but if I remember this day correctly, this was the whole Japan crisis, and I actually think I tagged 59K briefly because the market immediately started going back up. But if we compare that to QQQ, past 1 year is 22%, so I am kind of outperforming it. Year to date is 26%, and QQQ is only 13%, so I am kind of outperforming, not really, maybe. I don't know though. All right, so starting off with my top holdings, I have most of my money in Robinhood. I know Robinhood is very risky, very volatile, and definitely I would not recommend this portfolio to anybody else. So please do not buy the stuff that you're seeing here just because I have it. But the reason why I was so bullish on Robinhood was because at the time that I bought it, it was only around $10. I think I bought some at around 12, 11, and then it dipped down to like $9, $9 or $8, and I just kept dollar cost averaging. And so that's how I ended up with $1,500 at around $10 a share. And I am up 84%. And you're also probably wondering, why is Robinhood my top holding and why am I still holding it even after some pretty decent gains? Well, it's because I do still believe that Robinhood is very undervalued at $19. I think, and this is not advice, by the way, do not buy and sell based on my opinions, but I do think that Robinhood can get back to their IPO price of like 38, and I think all-time high was like almost 70. It doesn't show on this chart, but I think Robinhood did tag 70 a long time ago. But yeah, I do think Robinhood is the next Charles Schwab, and definitely I do think it can get back to $38. And that's the reason why I hold it. I think it's undervalued. I'm very impressed with the company and all the new products coming out. I know a lot of people are bullish on SOFI, and I do have some of it later on, you'll see in the video. But I don't understand why people are so much more bullish on SOFI rather than Robinhood. And maybe it has to do with the whole GameStop thing where a lot of people felt like they were screwed over. And maybe Robinhood left a bad taste in people's mouths, especially like the old version of the app. But I do consistently see Robinhood getting better and better. And I'm seeing like that urgency and that effort that they're putting into their new products. And so, yeah, I'm a happy shareholder, and I'm going to keep holding it, even though it has been pretty difficult, because I think Robinhood tagged, what did it tag? Like $25. I want to say it tagged 26 before, like in the overnight market, but it has been a very bumpy ride, especially during the Japan crisis, but it's all right. And my second top holding is TLT, And this is kind of a hedge, not really a hedge, because it's not a direct hedge on my portfolio, as in like me buying some Robinhood puts to hedge on the downside. This is just kind of like a somewhat cash holding, even though holding TLT is much riskier than just holding cash. But I just have TLT to have that interest payment every single month, and just in case there is some credit event, some spike in TLT, where the market takes a huge dip, or if the Fed starts panic cutting rates, just in case, I want to hold some TLT. And so obviously it is not going to be as big as my Robinhood position, but I do want to keep a lot of TLT around just in case something happens. Then I can sell, or maybe sell some covered calls on it, do whatever, take some profits, and then funnel that money into stocks. My number 3 holding is PayPal. And I did have a bit more. I want to say I had like 150 shares before. And let me show you my average cost basis. It is 60. Oh, I didn't show you my TLT cost basis. Yeah, it's around $90. But I will say I did take a hit on an option trade before. I want to say it was like $400 or $500. So my average cost is actually like 94, 95. But it's whatever. I'm still in the profit. But yeah, my PayPal average cost is around 69. I did buy it at a pretty high price. I should have bought a lot when it hit 58, 59. But it is what it is. I'm happy with it being my number 3 position. And if you think about it, it's kind of my number 2 position if eventually I do sell out of TLT. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with PayPal. They recently had a new update on their app. I want to say they updated their rewards. I still don't fully like the app. I don't like how difficult it is for me to search up the stores on that rewards tab. But I do see a lot of effort being put into the app. And I will say that PayPal is definitely getting much more competitive. And I think PayPal will be a huge e-commerce app in the future. And I'm already starting to see this in my own personal life, where I enjoy buying things on Nike, Foot Locker, Champs, etc. What else? Like Nordstrom. And I don't like having so many apps on my phone. I don't want to have, a million stores like Foot Locker, Champs, whatever, FLX, I think that's what they call it, and Nike and Adidas. I don't want to have all these apps on my phone. And it's so much easier to just have PayPal, have that one tab for shopping, and I can just search up Nike or search up Foot Locker, or maybe even just type in a specific pair of shoes, and then it'll give me so many different other options like, hey, this pair of shoes that you're looking for, you can buy it on Vans, or you could buy it at Dick's Sporting Goods, or etc. And yeah, I think PayPal has a great future in e-commerce and fintech, and just in general as the transactions, like wallet, I guess you could call it sector, the industry, as it grows, I think PayPal will do very well. And even with all this competition, like I said, with Rakuten, I think that's what they call it. I don't remember. But Apple Pay, etc., Cash App, I think PayPal is still one of the top dogs. And of course, my number 4 position is going to be Palantir. I did have a lot more a long time ago. Before the huge 2022, 2023 crash, I was trading a lot of Palantir. So I wasn't like a committed shareholder. And I did make a lot of decent money off of it. Or I got to show you my cost basis. Yeah, so it's like around 1770. But I did have a lot more Palantir previously, but I completely sold out of it. I think I was also selling some covered calls, but I don't really do that too much now. But yeah, so I was completely out. I think Palantir, what did it hit a long time ago? Yeah, it hit like around $30, I want to say. Yeah, it hit like $30, and I completely got, like, all of my shares got called away, assigned, and I was completely out, so I did not participate in this huge crash, thank God. But yeah, like you see, around $17, I did start adding back into it. I wish I bought some when it was like $6, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. And Palantir is not really a company that I would feel comfortable making as my number 1 position, just because I don't really use it. I don't know a lot of people that use it. I'm just a normal dude. I'm not some big corporate exec that works with Palantir on a day-to-day basis. So The whole AI is the future thing, whatever. I don't know too much about it, but I do want to participate in the upside. So I do have about $6,000 in Palantir. And Tesla is my next top holding. It used to be much higher up in my portfolio, but it took a huge dive. Well, not really for me. My average cost is around 230, and I'm down 5%. I was trading in and out a little bit, so I want to say I had like 30 shares, maybe 40. I don't know. I am interested in adding more, but there's just so many stocks that I think are trading at a discount right now. So I don't know if I want to put more money into Tesla. We'll see. So Honest is a company that I wish I had more shares of. I am up about 23% already. I do have a little bit more shares in like my SOFI account, I think. I used the SOFI account just to test it out and to compare their brokerage services to Robinhood. So I have a little bit more over there, but yeah, most of my Honest shares are on Robinhood. And right now it's around 4,200, up about 24%. And I really like the Honest company because I wish, obviously, just like anybody else, I wish I had bought when it was like $1 here. But what made me buy into it was just trading. So it was so dirt cheap for a premium company that was obviously turning around. I want to say it was like maybe 2x tangible book value. Like, don't quote me on it. Please, like, do your own research and look for yourself. And don't just believe everything that I'm saying. But I want to say it was like 2x tangible book value. It was about to flip profitable. And I think they were free cash. They were starting to have some free cash flow. And I've been trying out some of their products. I think they're very good. And I do think that the idea of having clean products and just having, a cleaner household in general, right? I do think my generation is a lot more conscious of that. I actually do. I notice it in my own personal life where whenever I'm buying food, I always look at the nutrition label, right? Because I don't want to put a lot of junk that makes me feel bad in my body. And I think people will also start doing that with their cleaning products. And a lot of that is with Honest Company, of course. They have beauty products, baby products. They have all kinds of stuff. And my next top holding after Honest is, unfortunately, SOFI. And I only say unfortunately because I'm still down on it. And I've been back holding just like probably all of you watching this video right now. I'm only down about 2% because I never bought SOFI when it was like, let me see. Yeah, I never was really into SOFI when it was like 20 something bucks. So I did not participate in this downside like maybe some of you guys. Part of the reason why I own SOFI is because I wanted to own a bank of the future a bank that I thought had a future. And I do see a future for SOFI, but they've been kind of disappointing me. And I know that might sound weird because a lot of people are bullish on SOFI, but I use their app, right? I use any company that I buy that has an app available to me. I'll download it and give it a try. But I just don't, I understand that they're managing their risk, right? And they're not trying to be so fast like Robinhood. But I do think part of that puts them at a disadvantage because there's no excitement with SOFI. Like with Robinhood, I am very excited for the 3% cashback card. SOFI is only 2.2%. Robinhood has a Robinhood goal where you get a 5% on your cash balance. SOFI is only like 4.5, I want to say. And their new credit cards that came out, kind of a snooze fest, let's be honest. And it's a good online bank, but I just don't see anything that really differentiates SOFI. And I know they do a lot of marketing with athletes and sports. And I know they have their tech platform, but I just think SOFI needs excitement. And so after SOFI, my next top holding is American Express. I got in at a really good price, and I really wish I bought more. I'm up about 70% on American Express. I bought at around 147. And man, I really wish I would have owned more American Express because, obviously everybody watching this should know what American Express is. It's that credit card company. They also have their online banking. They have their checkings and savings, very competitive. It's not as high of a rate as SoFi or Robinhood, but I really love the American Express app, the look of it. I love their cards. It's a premium brand. It's their own network. It's the American Express chip. And what can I say that hasn't already been said? You're collecting a dividend, owning one of the top brands in the entire world. And my only regret is I didn't buy more. And so now we're getting into some positions that I would like to build up more. Next one is Nike. I'm down a little bit on it. Like 5% on it. And definitely Nike is a position that I want to build up. I don't know if I want it to be like bigger than Robinhood. Actually, no, definitely not bigger than Robinhood. But I do think I could see Nike being like under PayPal, right? Or maybe under TLT, maybe even more than TLT. That would be awesome. But yeah, we'll see. I really hope Nike stays down at these levels for a long time just so I can keep building. But it is what it is. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, keep adding to it. And the next stock after Nike is EA Games. Part of the reason why I own EA Games is just because, I was a fan, growing up. I loved playing EA games. So I do have that bias, right? And you should not own a stock just because you're passionate about the products, definitely. But looking at the charts, and I know I'm mixing up fundamentals and technicals, whatever. I don't really believe fully in one thing. Just a little disclaimer for everyone. I kind of like to just have my own opinions and thoughts and make my decisions based off of that. But I do think EA has been consolidating for a very long time. I think it's undervalued. I don't remember what the PE is, but I do think it is undervalued. I could see EA hitting 190, 200, not so distant future. And I really want to own a lot more of it. I only have a puny, 1,500 in the stock right now. But yes, definitely more EA. And unfortunately, after EA, I have 200 shares of Burberry. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not. But I am down 47%. And the only reason why I'm still holding is because, well, number one, it's such a small position for me, so it doesn't really matter. But I do think it's undervalued, but it's very risky, I will admit. It's not as quote-unquote safe as owning a Nike, but I do think the consumer stocks have taken a huge hit recently, and eventually things will get better. And so Burberry was just kind of like this. And when I was buying it, they were paying a dividend, but I think they cut it. But it was just one of my consumer plays. And, we'll just see where it goes. I only have around 1,600 of it. But if I don't see any improvement, then I might have to start looking for an exit. And of course, I only have one share of QQQ, but I will most likely build up a QQQ position, just like with my extra cash that I have whenever we have huge, downward swings in the market. I don't think I'm going to be dollar cost averaging into QQQ just because I have so many other stocks that I want to buy. I don't want to own some boring QQQ. But yeah, whenever the entire market takes a huge dip, most likely I'll put some money into QQQ just so I don't miss out. And well, I got to show you my cost basis. 448. So I'm only up around 2%. And also I'm trading QQQ. So I did have more shares, but I sold and left my profits in the stock. So even though it says I put 400 into it, it's mostly profits from me trading it. And by the way, trading is risky, guys. Don't do it just because I'm talking about it. And after QQQ, I have Nubank. And Nubank, unfortunately, started pumping like crazy after I bought it. And I was not able to get a position built out. So you can see I started a position with 300 or so bucks. And unfortunately, it pumped to $14. And I'm kind of sad about it, but we'll see. I'm just holding it because it's a pretty good bank, I heard. And I know Nubank is very popular in South America and in Brazil. And so it's just kind of one of my fintech plays because I think fintech is going to have an amazing decade. And after Nubank was another stock that I wanted to start a position in, but not too big. And it started pumping like crazy after I bought it, of course. I actually bought these shares during that dip with the Japan crisis, I want to say August 5th. And it's already up 22%. And I will say VFC, most of the reason why I bought it was because I love Vans, the brand. I wear Vans all the time. and it's a dividend paying stock, but I will admit it is not financially healthy. It's not like a Nike where I could see them recovering. Like, I could see the recovery playing out, right? There's a higher possibility of it. And, VFC is struggling a lot, but they've been selling a lot of their assets, trying to fix up their balance sheet, and we'll see. $180 in the stock for me isn't really going to do much, but I just like the feeling of owning the brands that I wear. And Costco, I put like $50 in Costco just because I really like it, but yeah, it's not much of a position. I'm up like 21%, and I started a position, but I don't want to add to it because Costco is like so overvalued and it just keeps pumping and pumping. I don't know why. Like, I know people love Costco and it's like a cult stock, but Jesus, like, this stock just only goes up, and I don't feel safe adding to it. And I just wanted to touch on this RSX. It was the Russia ETF that I bought when the war first broke out. And I had an opportunity to get my $5 back after the war started. So I'm not going to complain about them locking me out of my money, because I did have an opportunity to cash out, but I just didn't take it. And the reason why I kept this one share was because it's a constant reminder that I don't actually own these things. Even though, yes, you do. Whenever you buy a stock, you have ownership in the company. But it's just a reminder that it's a small reminder that all of this could easily be taken away from me. And I just like that humbling thought. And I think every now and then I'll need it. And so that's why I keep it on this account. And it might be stupid of me to have like those little things in my portfolio because it affects my performance, but whatever.